2, and here's Modi. Gillian Laub. Gillian Laub. I'm so excited to have you here. I mean, I know you want to always start off with a little conversation before we bring the guest. I can't.
It's okay.
I can't. She's here, and I'm excited.
I'm
and
excited too.
She is a photographer and filmmaker, but photographer is what I know her as. And when we dove deep into you, wow, that's definitely not.
We made a deep dive.
We made a deep dive into you.
Well,
We didn't know.
pretty
Should we
questionable.
start again? This is horrible. Oh my God. Help me out here. When we
You did a deep dive
when
into
we
me.
when we
that
dove
kind of
deep
podcast.
into your internet world. Is that better? Oh my God.
It's a little bit
Now, all of a sudden,
better.
you're not helping me. Usually you
you
chime
said,
right
you said
in.
you didn't want me
Yeah.
to start. You said you
No.
wanted to just go right into it.
Okay, so I kind of heard of you, but we didn't really get into you, and it was amazing because we were on the internet. Leo and I dove in there, and we were blown away. And your exhibition, which is currently at the International Center for Photography on 79 Essex Street, which is around the corner from where I live, and it's across from the Essex Market, and all you there, and you go, and when you walk out of the Essex Market, you see her grandfather's tuchus, his big tuchus, and I guess your grandmother's hand grabbing it.
Correct. Yeah.
And the exhibition is about. I went to see it. The exhibition it's Family Matters. It's your family, and it's a family that I'm familiar with. It's a family I've seen a million of them, and it's amazing. And it's you really feel like you're in the house with them when you see them. It's these over-the-top Jewish family. And it's funny because when we were looking at it on the internet, I was doing the voices for Leo. I was like, this is how she would talk. And it sounds like she's been smoking since the age of 9. And she speaks until she has no air in her lungs. And then at the exhibit, you can actually hear the voices, right?
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
not off. I was not off, right? And
love it.
I can't. You feel it so. It's not the family ride my family has. We're more that Israeli-American
Yeah,
ride,
you're-
but this is a ride I've been on. The Famika in the house. The Famika in the house. I can't. Those of you who are not Jewish, let me tell you what Famika is.
It's so good. It's so good.
Leo, do you even know what Famika is? You have no idea.
Yeah,
what
because I'm from Florida.
Oh yes,
Oh, right,
yes.
right.
Formica is this, when Jews, when they decorate a house, the main thing they're obsessed with is how to clean it. How are we going to clean this? How are we going to clean this? Where am I cleaning this from?
Windex.
And so you have Formica, where you can literally power hose the house down. It's Formica. I mean, there's pictures of it in here, in the bathroom, in the living room, and it never changes. And you can decorate it with whatever you want. It's always off-white, and there's always like a little thing coming off, and just put a little glue and put it back on.
Oh
It's
my God,
Formica.
you get it so.
No, I got the family. I got the family. I've been hired to perform for families like yours,
Yeah.
where it's my grandmother's 80th birthday. The kids are going to be there. Well, not all the sisters, because she doesn't talk to Phoebe and she doesn't talk to this. And am I right or wrong? This
Oh
is
my
the
God.
family.
It's. In fact, I may have you come. We may hire you as the performer for a family get-together.
And I will tell you, of all the characters in the book and in your family's life, who do you think I connected with the most?
Oh, I'm curious.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay, I'm so curious. Oh, my grandpa.
We have the same necklace. Are you obsessed? Look at this.
You have the same.
necklace
Wait,
as
I'm
your grandfather.
freaking
I'm
out.
freaking out. When I was sitting there, I'm looking, well, why am I in love with this man? And then I see we have
Wait,
the same
I'm
necklace.
freaking out. Oh my God.
It's
yeah.
literally the same.
Is that what's on the cover?
It's on the cover. It's on the cover.
Show the cover of the book.
Yeah, those of you watching,
This
this
is
is the
fam-
cover of the book. The book is gorgeous. Family Matters, Gillian Laub, and it's so good. And can we just? I want to do the whole, but first let me just get what I want out of the way.
Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna ask.
It's a
you're-
Jewish family. I'm going to ask her questions,
Okay,
but
just
first I
making
always
sure.
get my tirade out. I'm going to do the how long did it take you, what's your inspiration, but all the
Oh
other
my God.
things.
I
But-
just need you to come out to dinner with my whole family.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, it's a Jewish family, but that's not the main focus of their thing isn't mainly Jewish. Although the pictures here are insane. You have one picture here where your father is the sandik. You know what a sandik is?
You ha-
So he's holding the baby
Right.
down. for
Whoever
the,
whoever holds the baby when the baby is getting the bris,
Yes.
the circumcision, is one of the highest honors, if not the highest honor you can give in the Jewish religion, because you're now taking the energy of this person into the child. Usually it's a grandfather. In religious circles, it's a big holy rabbi.
Yes.
If you can get and here you are, your father, and I mean, the picture is so, it's so old school because now now it's become accustomed that you don't show the penis and the
Right.
whole thing, but you're like blatant. And the moil, the guy who does the circumcision, he's got this angry fist. And then in the background you see the yenta aunts and grandmothers just talking. I hope the locks is from wherever you get the locks from. It's all in one picture.
Wait,
and
the best part of the bris is that you would clear away the baby and then they'd put food on the table.
Right. But it's so. What year was it? It's 2007. So it's still. Nobody was really doing the pictures of it, but you're blatantly here, and you see usually the guy holding the baby is like looking anywhere but the baby. But that was so it is a Jewish family, and then there's like little things that just like the whole controversy now with Ben and Jerry's, and boom, the Ben and Jerry truck. You couldn't ask for that. You could not ever ask for that. And then I'm just giving people. Should I show this picture to the?
I mean, it's
People just Google it. It's insane. These pictures are amazing.
or go to the exhibition.
Go to the
at
exhibition
ICP.
at
The International
ICP.
Center for
International
Photography.
Center for Photography around the corner
But
from
if
my
you're
house.
not in New York, you can also order the book. You can
Yeah.
hold up a couple of the pictures
Okay,
just
so
for the people
here,
who are
here,
watching.
so one of the things we did do when we came to when my parents discovered sleepaway camps, like we can send these kids
Wait.
away for 8 weeks. They said yes.
Wait, where did you go to camp?
So Trails End, did you go to?
No, I went to Scatico.
Okay, yes, okay. So Trails End Camp, my grandfather started Trails End Camp. He
Oh, wow.
he was the founder of Trails End
You're
Camp.
kidding.
Wow.
No.
That's the kind of family you have. They began these things, and so when they bring me to do the show, they tell me, "Well, all the kids at Trail Camp, that was our camp. We funded it, this and this, and there's I bet you there's a million
Do you feel
plaques
seen
around
right
the
now?
world."
You feel
I'm
very seen.
reading her. I'm reading her
No,
for
you
points.
get-
But
In fact, last night, somebody who went to an alumni from Trails End Camp had a book party for me, hosted a book party for me with only Trails End Camp people.
Oh my
And
God.
I didn't know any of
Wow.
them. I didn't, because they were 10 and 15 years older than me. But they had this, and everyone's like, "I remember you as a little girl." I had no idea because I was 6 years old, and they were campers and counselors. So yes, it was a whole camp
That's so
reunion last
cool.
night.
But the picture here is so insane because it's so. I have to show this picture. There's this girl. Is your sister or something? Who's
That's
this?
my cousin, my
It's
little
your
cousin.
cousin, and who's this?
Her
child?
mom, that's her sister. These are
Okay,
all
the
cousins.
two cousins and the mom, and just so you see the child's crying. You would think that they, God forbid, lost a member of the family. At this, okay, so when you go to sleepaway camp, they have a visiting day. Okay, my parents came for the first one. I was 5 years in this camp. That sounds so
Yeah, I know.
bad.
What
That
do
didn't
you
sound
say?
good. That was not.
Camp.
I was 5 years in a sports sleepaway camp. Okay.
Scatico was the sports. Yep.
But we were horrible. We were absolutely horrible at the sports. We always lost at every other
Jewish,
camp.
Right, 'cause you're
Jewish
Jewish.
sleepaway camp for sports.
But they have this the visiting day in the middle, and the parents come, and then the kids freak out when the parents leave, and we get homesick. And my parents, after the first visiting day, never came back for
Oh
visiting
my.
day. They said, what are we
Stop
doing?
it.
What?
Wait,
I
can I
said, send
tell?
the package. I don't need you here.
They didn't come to visiting day?
I think they came for 2 of the 5 that I was there for. It was but my parents no.
Isn't the
But
point of sleepaway camp?
look at them. They're holding like they just got rescued from. They just got. It's so over the top.
Can I
And
tell you a
nailed
funny
it. You
story?
nailed it.
Well, can I tell you a funny story about this visiting day? And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna try and truncate it. So basically, my husband had never met Jews like my family before. He's Israeli. He then was grew up in Northern California. So he was like, "Wow, this camp that your family talks about, it sounds so idyllic in the woods, Jews frolicking together." Like he thought it was a kibbutz or a moshav that his
Yeah.
family grew up on. So my nephews, it's intergenerational. So my nephews go there. My parents met there. My grandparents met. It's
Where
it's
is it?
huge in my family. It's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So
I'm just wondering where I'm sending Ari
Oh.
next summer.
so it's a huge fight with my family right now whether my kids are going to go there or not. So we lost that battle. They're going. So
Is anything in your family not a huge fight? Is anything like?
No, let her tell us.
I'm sorry.
okay. So my husband is new to this whole camp. He was like, "You send your kids, but okay, I'm into it if it's like amazing." So we go there for visiting day to visit my nephews. He was like, "What the fucking fuck is this? This is insanity." He's like, "I never met people. We were run over by the parents. They hold a rope up. So we were run over by the parents running to their kids with like truckloads
bizarre.
of candy and it's mayhem." Anyway, the point is that I pitched it to New York Magazine as a photo essay. So it's so visual. So the next year, the camp opened it up for me, allowed me to photograph it, and the headline was "The Running of the Jews."
Oh my.
Oh my
Well,
God.
it was a quote that a mom said, "This is like the running of the Jews," and that was the headline, of course.
That's amazing.
That's
so-
amazing.
But it was. I
And
mean,
by running, it's a light jog. No one's running to anywhere with the Jewish world.
It's a light jog to get to their kids.
anyway, it was people. My family, I think, thought I was a bit of a traitor because they thought I set it up to be, anyway, so that's where these pictures came from.
Okay, so that really killed me. And then you
This
have the
one.
grandmother with the aide, the housekeeper who becomes a part of the family.
Yeah.
Jenna, or whatever their names are. It's always Jenna or Emma and she becomes a part of the family. And so you just see the grandmother, and there's always her aide right next to her. It's such a thing. And this is Leo. This is Formica for days. This is Formica. Just said never. And what was the last one I wanted to okay, and this is
Show that.
just-
Show
Does that trigger you,
I
Modi?
mean,
That
I wish we had that right now. Can you show what the?
So
this is
the
what
title
Modi
of the
does not
picture
allow
is
in
the
his
title
shows.
of the picture is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, Kol Nidre, atonement, forgiveness, but she summarized it in a picture of the most delicious looking lox,
Yeah, that does
bagels.
look-
No, it's so detailed. The dried fruit. The dried fruit where you've already eaten so much you think, let me eat something healthy, and then you put this disgusting dried fruit, which looks like
God, you
it
nailed
looks like, and then the jelly rolls. The jelly roll, we only discovered that when we came to America. What is
They're
it?
disgusting.
It's vile. It's just the most disgusting thing that has
Why?
ever.
Why is that part of what we have?
I don't know, but I guess she did.
know,
I bet she
that's
just put it to decorate the table, but
It's maybe more decorative.
it's so vile. But
It's such like a
but the-
70s
but
like
look at
gelatin
look at this.
base.
Look at this. The herring and the potato salad and the cream cheese with or without a little something in it. All the different types of pickles, and it's condensed. Look how sickly and thick that is. It's wow. You nailed Yom Kippur. Who knew you could nail Yom Kippur with a picture of lox?
So this project has spanned over 20 years.
Yes, over
Wow.
20 years. And it's in chronological order. The first picture is my
Yes.
grandfather and his.
So
vegetable
obviously
garden.
this took 20 years, but when you do a regular project, like you have a big project now,
Southern Rights.
Southern Rights. How long does that take?
Well, my projects take a long time because I do think that the narratives take a while to reveal themselves. So Southern Rights started in 2002, and I was in Georgia photographing on assignment to photograph segregated homecoming rituals where they still had segregated homecomings and proms in the South. Literally, there's a
In
column.
what year?
So this went on until 2009. So I was obsessed with this town because I'm like, oh, this
Where were you?
is so normal. This was in Georgia, Montgomery County, Georgia.
Right near where you grew up.
My family lives in Georgia. I went to the University of Georgia.
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm familiar with some of the
Okay.
Michigas that happened in Georgia,
So-
down in
but
Georgia.
did you have segregated proms where the ballot says white girl, black girl? Like
Oh
that
my
is
No,
In,
my
in the
school-
2000s?
Yeah,
This went on until 2009. Finally, when the photo essay that I did in 2009 was in the New York Times Magazine, they were forced to integrate the proms in 2010.
Wow.
I do know that there were some schools near where I went to school where, very recently, rather than segregating the prom, they just chose to cancel all the activities altogether rather than do segregated events. That I knew was a thing near where I lived.
It's really no. I thought that when I knew about this town that this was an anomaly, but then it all throughout rural Georgia, in Louisiana, in Tennessee, like this was like normal, and they kind of like the euphemism was like, this is our tradition.
Wow.
Tradition.
Tradition.
That's
Tradition.
Wait,
Okay.
can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Who was most who surprised you out of your family's like reactions? Like who was most upset? Who was most
Okay.
open? Like who felt like you
Well,
were?
in the exhibit, did you see the exhibit?
Of course.
There's a whole thing there, which is really good to answer that. But go ahead, since you're here, we might as well have you do it.
So I was, I'm kind of amazed that my father was he loved it.
Of course he
Like
did.
he loved it because he just, he felt like I was really honest, and he knew that I was being true to the story.
But
and
maybe let's tell our listeners who might
Okay.
not be familiar with
Okay.
the story.
So my parents became, so this is 20 years of photographs, and I really didn't know. And when you say, like, it wasn't a project for me for 20 years. It was something that I did. I photographed my family.
Right.
But I didn't know that what it would turn into. I don't approach things like with like a motive. Like I photograph what I'm interested in and passionate about and want to learn more about.
Okay.
So anyway, my parents and my family all became passionate Trump supporters in 2016. And that's when everything really took a turn, and this became almost like my therapy. So it became a project because this is like, I turned the camera literally on myself.
Now, your family obviously has money, and they were support. When you say support, I mean, my father, for some reason, is addicted to Fox News.
Yes.
But when he turns it off, it's over. He
Okay.
doesn't care about politics or Trump or anybody. He just, when he goes there, they're such bastards, and then he moves on. And, you see my father.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. But yours are like, they were in the inauguration.
So here's the
So
thing.
you need to cut a check to show up at the inauguration.
So here's
I'm
what
assuming,
yes.
yeah.
So here's my theory. So aside from my existential crisis I gave birth to my second child, and I had so simultaneously after giving birth to my second child, I get a text from my dad's from a Trump fundraiser, and my dad is with Omarosa and says he's going to make America great again. Watch and see.
Oh.
So
My
so
God.
my whole world felt like it was falling apart at the seams. A lot of people felt that way during
Yeah.
that time. But anyway, what was my point?
Your point was your point was that the family now was split in half. I mean, I think it was not the entire was split in half. It was split because it seemed
Oh,
from the exhibition that
sorry.
people were
I
super
know-
Trump and a few were not.
Yes. Well, the few are my husband and I in my immediate family. And then my cousins, I come from a very liberal family too. So it's really complicated. Okay. So the thing is, in the book, that picture at the Briss, that was at Trump National Club. It took me, I had to kind of backtrack and excavate my whole life. Like, how did we end up here? How did we end up here? So I'll tell you something, and I'm not saying that this is the answer, but this is significant. At least I think it is. So we moved to Chappaqua, and my family, they have the typical immigrant story. So as much as they could reach success, they will never fit into white Christian America. It's just, that's.
Do they want to?
So
To sit with the goyim?
but
eat
here's the
bacon?
thing. So they built their dream house in Chappaqua. Chappaqua was like, they had the best public schools, and they could finally have property. And so my dad's thinking he's like building his dream house. He's building his American dream. And we come to this town, and they really don't like Jews. really don't like.
Back
Yes,
then.
it's
Now
very
it's all
Jewish now. Now it's like a
all
mini
Jewish.
Long
There's
Island.
17 synagogues, 3 Chabad houses. There's 12.
I'm not so sure about that,
okay,
but it's, you know, the Jews that were there celebrated Christmas, and it was not. We were like the nouveau riche gauche Jews. Like
This is when you were a kid.
yeah, like
Okay.
my
How did they make
boyfriend.
the money? Where did the money come from? Just not like specific.
Also, you have to read the book because it is all in there. It's a family business. My grandfather included everyone, and he was the patriarch of the family, and he bought a building that they lived in the Bronx, which was Jewish.
He did.
Yes.
Did you even need to ask that question?
But I wanted to.
Okay, so it's a
But
family business.
Your grandfather was born in America.
Yes. So his father came to America.
Way
from
before
back.
the war.
Turn of the century, and left brothers and sisters in Russia.
Okay.
They obviously didn't survive, but came with 2 brothers, and they built this real estate business.
Right.
And the whole family is a part of it. So anyway, I'll tell you that my father wanted to play golf, and all of my friends were super waspy, and they belonged to the 2 local golf clubs in town. Jews and black people were not welcome. So Trump National Club opens up down the street. They allow everyone.
Oh, that was
so
the
like
reason.
the irony. I
Wow.
don't think he's going to say this is the reason, but I kind of, take all the layers out, and I'm thinking, it's so emotional. People make choices through emotions, right? So he finally felt welcomed and accepted, and he really thrived at this club. Meanwhile, that picture of the bris. So the 2 first brises were in synagogues, and then all of a sudden I'm like, how did we end up at this bris at Trump National Club? I'm making the picture, and I'm moving away all of these water bottles with Trump's face on it.
Oh wow.
So like in this picture, in the frames before, you have like Trump's. It's like a premonition that's happening. Trump's face
Wow.
everywhere. So I do think that a lot of it was, I think, this emotional like connection
To Trump with him.
Yes.
So I read it wrong because I had not my family. My family, first of all, not that political. No one cares. No one's sending a check to any politician to begin with. No one, ever. But I had it with my fans. I'm on stage, and you have a Jewish audience,
Yeah.
and half of them are super pro-Trump, and the other half are super anti-Trump.
Ooh.
And you got to make sure that your act doesn't trigger any.
How do you deal with that and be
So
true to
we-
your comedy?
And it's again, I'm not political at all.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care for anybody, any of them.
Right.
I don't care for none of them. I don't care for.
That's what my dad says too, though.
But Israel, I thought it would be Israel because politics. From
It
what I
is
and
Israel
my,
as
my,
well.
my little thing on politics. There's an issue. It's not a politician. So Leo's family is super Catholic, and Jesus and abortion is the most important thing. So whoever
This is a single issue voter.
it's a single issue
Right.
voter.
So whereas I think
Now you help me.
my-
Single issue, but when I was deep
Same.
diving into Julian, no one said anything. Single. Now you help me. Thank you.
I thought it was I thought that the issue was like Israel, and then
That's
it's
part
a
of it.
snowball effect.
So
from there.
they'll never say that. I'm just like, I always try and psychologically analyze what's underneath.
Sure.
So he will say Israel,
Right.
of course, but I think
But you
it's
don't
much,
need like a degree in
it's
psychology.
that Trump accepted him. It's that
Yeah.
Trump accepted him.
Yeah.
The golf club was a Trojan horse
Yeah.
for him feeling
Have you
welcome.
had this Jillian, wait. Have
Yeah.
you had this conversation with your dad though? Like
he knows what I think.
No,
He-
no, I know
Oh.
he knows what you think, but have you said like do you think that it's because that you were accepted finally?
I think that, okay, I don't know if I ever actually asked him that question. I don't. Oh my goodness.
What's the question?
I don't think I've ever.
Give me the question.
The question is do you think that you became a Trump supporter because when,
Because
25, 30 years ago,
Yeah.
He
even
was the only one
this
that
was the
accepted you
first
into his
place
club.
that accepted you when you felt like such an outsider and rejected.
I mean, we've had that conversation, but he won't say like that's the only thing. But that is a big deal.
Of course.
That's a big deal. And he was an outsider. Trump he liked that
Yeah.
he was like the outlier.
I think a lot of people like
Right.
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
People just wanted to go against the system, I think. And
And I mean, as much as my father is successful, he really, really connects with like blue collar workers, and he feels like the elite, like he was very, very, very offended by all the elites, right? So Trump spoke to him in that way
Yeah.
because he felt like he was condescended to and looked down upon because he's like, just because I have money doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like I'll never like people, don't take me seriously or
Yeah, like
so-
I'm a guy who grew up in the Bronx.
Right,
Right,
exactly. Exactly.
Right. I mean,
So-
I've never had an obsession to be accepted by Goyim, in their worlds, in their bacon eating events.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I'm saying? We just saw the Tammy Faye. We just saw the Tammy Faye documentary, and you just see
was
all
a documentary.
whatever.
That was the scripted film that just
the
filmed.
scripted film.
Yeah.
And when you see these people in
You
church
just kept
on
going.
Sunday,
They're gonna go eat bacon.
they're gonna
after
just
this.
all I
They're
think
gonna
is
go eat
after this,
bacon
they
after
go
this.
eat
I was like,
bacon.
do you want
There's
some
no
bacon? What's your
kiddish.
issue?
There's no kiddish afterward. There's no,
There's no kiddish.
they go to eat bacon in these places, and it's like I'm not looking to be a part of that, But anyway,
Okay. Anyway, I have a question.
go ahead.
Yeah.
How was it photographing Annie Leibovitz?
Oh my goodness.
That was my closing.
Okay.
That's all I wanted. I was the
Well,
of
we can do
everything.
it later
Go
then.
ahead.
But
Okay.
What was that like?
So I was terrified, obviously, because how do you go
Yeah.
and make a portrait of Annie Leibovitz, the legend and icon?
Right.
So,
no pressure.
I know, no pressure.
she.
I would be freaking out.
It was definitely the most daunting.
Was she
I'd say
nice?
she's up there with the Obamas. We had an incredibly special time.
Wow.
Wow.
And I will never. It was very special. We went to her home in
Rhinebeck.
and she asked, "Where do you want to do this?" And she told me, different options, her studio, and it was really important for me because the only pictures I ever saw of her were working or in her studio, and you can't really tell like who's Annie.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's really important to be in a place to make a portrait. You want to be in a place that means something to somebody, and she can understand that. But I wasn't sure if she would let me in that way, and she did. And I could have spent way more. I mean, I thought I had an hour. We had the whole day.
Wow.
And then the afternoon, she took me all around her property, and it was kind of this amazing moment because it was the end of the day, and she told me that her pond house, where Susan Sontag wrote for 15 years when they were together and is now her studio, is a really, really important, place in her life. And I wanted this picture of her in front of the pond.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
And it was terrible lighting, really terrible lighting. And she was like, "Oh, you got to see it. Look at this picture. I'm not trying to show off." And she showed me a picture on her cell phone of what the pond looked like first thing in the morning. It was like mystical with all this smoke, like the
fog.
Dew.
fog
The
and
dew and all that.
yeah. So, and I said, "Oh my God, you're actually killing me right now because there's nothing, like the light is terrible." And she was like, "I get it. Do you want to come back in the morning?" For some-"
Oh, that's amazing.
So I'm like, "Oh my," so that was so generous of her.
Yeah.
So
I would
we-
have said, "Hold on, I'll put my flashlight on and hold it up like this for you." That was that.
So wait, the picture that I saw that is next to the pond, that's a morning picture?
that we woke up at 3:30 in the morning to drive
Oh,
back to
wow.
Rhinebeck for
oh,
sunrise.
You did not.
Wow.
Of course, I would do it
It's
10
a really
times
amazing
over.
picture.
Wow.
I thought it
It-
was sunset though. It looks like sunset.
I
in the
know.
picture.
I know. It's
now that
Only
I know
a
it's a morning picture.
photographer would wake up at 3:30 in the morning
To-
to get the right light. No,
That's
really.
Like a big shot.
It's
like,
yeah.
literally.
It
Is that?
was.
Would you say that was one of the highlights of your career?
I think it's not because I think that I like the pictures, of course. But the experience for me, experience is always more. Well, I don't know. Sometimes the picture is better than the experience.
Really?
Sometimes the experience is better than the picture. Here, I feel like the whole everything kind of surpassed my expectations. So when that happens, it's just like kind of magical.
Wow.
That's
But
so
yeah,
nice.
but I was leading to that.
Sorry.
I was obsessed with this Annie Leibovitz
Oh.
thing. It's so great.
Yeah, it was. She's fascinating, and she is just like a creative genius, and it was just very cool to talk to her about work and motherhood, and I don't know.
Is she your rabbi? So we have a question that we ask everybody on this podcast. We say, "What is?" And usually I forget, and she reminds me. But when I ask who is your rabbi, not your rabbi from synagogue,
Yeah.
but who's your guru? Who's who would you go to questions for? But be it for photography or for family issues or for.
So I don't have a rabbi, and I think we're all so flawed, and obviously. So there's no person that is like has all the answers. I go to so many. I'm like a professional yenta.
Okay. That's
So-
a Karen, but not
my
not
But
Instagram
Jewish.
bio.
But
a
Jewish.
Jewish Karen, but not racist.
Oh God! Oh God! But I had to go to so many. Like I have so many people, and I have this person for this kind of wisdom. This person.
So give
for
us
the-
one or two. One or two
well,
that you
actually-
is Annie Leibovitz one of them?
So I don't know her enough.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it has to be somebody who I
Oh.
know, and who, like, for somebody to be my rabbi, I have to like know their soul. I don't know if what I saw of her, I want to know more.
Okay.
So she is somebody that I would love to know more because I know I'm not giving you a good answer because
Okay, so you don't have to.
but I mean, I do actually have a rabbi who I talk to about certain things. You know who I was thinking would
Who?
maybe be a great person for you? Amichai, for this show. Do you know Amichai Lau?
Any relations?
rabbi?
Any
Oh.
any in relations to? Yes, I do know Ami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did his podcast. No.
Which one?
Good Faith podcast. That's
Okay.
That's Ami Lamb.
Yeah,
Okay.
not the same
Sorry.
person.
Sorry,
Amichai.
digressing.
Amichai, not to be confused with Omicron, the new variant.
But to answer, I go to my father for a lot of things.
Good.
Obviously, not
So
politics.
that-
I have my best friends. Like, I don't think that there's one person that can actually fulfill everything. So
No one said there is, but one of them is your father. Okay, so
Yes.
for business things, I'm
Okay.
sure, Dad,
Yes.
should I sign this? I shouldn't. So
yes,
business,
yes,
Okay.
my father.
Okay, so the exhibit is at the.
International Center.
ICP.
I have to read it. You know, I'm going to miss it. Find out if I read it. International Center for Photography, 79 Essex Street. Supported. It's a beautiful building. It was only $16 to get in. The book was only $52, worth every penny. It's amazing. The cover's gorgeous. Fits with anything in the house.
Especially for Micah.
Especially
Yeah.
for Micah. Especially for Micah. So this is what's happening at Family Matters. Your family story and all that, and then the Southern Rights is the other thing.
Southern Rights is it continues to travel to different cities, and that is going to Asheville, and then going to Atlanta Contemporary Art Museum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's all your things?
Oh, okay. So I mostly, when I have something, I just post it on my Instagram, which is Gigi Laub.
G-I-G-I Laub, not G and the letter G Laub.
Right.
Right. Because he was going G Laub. There's no Gigi Laub. And then it goes
Who would
G-I-G-I.
spell it like that?
I thought it was G Laub, like the two initials,
No,
GG, but it's
I mean-
G-I-G-I Laub.
Yes, and my website, which is just my name. But yeah, so I'll keep you posted. on
Please.
things.
And please
Yeah.
invite your family to my Christmas show.
Oh my God. Done and done and
Please,
done.
Please.
Done and done.
City
and
Winery, the 25th of this month.
Oh, I'm
it's-
so
I'm sorry, of
excited.
this month, yes.
Yes,
we're
December 25th.
December
December
25th,
1st,
yes.
yeah.
December 25th, Christmas Day, and City Winery, they will have the time of their lives.
They will love you so much.
Yes.
And your Israeli accent is actually
What accent?
genius. Like it is like genius.
Thank you. And then we have Ahmed Modi _live on Instagram. Shows coming up. We have, tonight, tomorrow, that's not going to help. But so the 8th, I'll be at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. And then the 25th at City Winery. Tickets available in the bio and modilive.com. And
I'm at Periel Ashenbrand. I have shows at Stand Up New York on the 14th of December and the 30th of December.
and Leo, who produces everything.
I'm at info@modilive.com.
You know that Siegfried and Roy.
Do not
No, listen.
go
let me,
where you're
let me
going
say
right
it.
now. I hate every
Oh, I'm
part of where you're
obsessed.
going with
No,
this.
no, let
I
me
almost wish
say
a
it.
tiger runs right now and lunges at your
Let
neck.
me say it.
What?
Siegfried and Roy, I'm obsessed with, have been forever. There is a clip on YouTube where Siegfried says, I am the magician, but Roy, he is the magic.
Oh God, yes.
And then a tiger bit his throat open.
Bit his throat, and now I'm crippled.
They're both dead. I
They're
think.
both dead. Yeah, both. We actually that was on the last podcast with Arnold.
Oh, they're both. Oh, I
They're
didn't
both
even
dead.
realize that.
But
Okay.
Baruch Dana Emes.
Zichronam
It's so
lebracha.
funny. This family is such an amazing. It's such a family that I know every. When they talk on this tuna fish on the side of the mouth, it's so
Wait, when did you
insane.
move to the States?
We moved to America when I was when I was 7, so it was back when I was 7. And but like I said, so our experience is the Israeli. I'm more your
Yeah.
husband's experience, probably
Yes. And where did you move to?
To the 5 towns.
Oh my goodness.
Now, did
Yeah.
you speak English when you got here?
I don't remember. No, obviously not. But
No,
I was
not-
7. I picked up really fast. But in the house, there was only Hebrew.
Right.
So, but I mean, that was the experience we had. But this experience, I just know so well.
Mm-hmm.
I just know it
Yeah,
so
I feel like I
so-
know the family just from going to your show.
No,
It's-
she's such a Laub. They're so proud of them. She's a real Laub. She does this and that, and she the way she drives, she's a real Laub. It's so that family.
I know.
When we were looking at it, when we were deep diving into you, I'm committing to that. I was just doing all the accents of every picture. Anyway, get the book, go see the exhibit. Thank you all for listening, and we love your comments. Anybody who wants to sponsor an episode in honor of somebody, we've been doing that. That's fun. What else?
Send us things.
Keep sending stuff. We'll put it up.
Showing.
Shine. It's enough.
And tell your
It's enough.
friends.
Tell your friends and
Tell your
pass this on.
friends.
And again, I'll see you all, definitely the New Yorkers, I'll see you Christmas Day at City Winery. In LA, I'll see you at the Laugh Factory on the 8th. Yurli will be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was
Bye-bye,
so much
everybody.
fun.